Rolex strategy of franchise. According to Rolex 2021, the internationalization strategy used by the company is that of franchises, because in this way the company can maintain quality, which is the main characteristic of the brand. UCM 2019 affirms that the strategy chosen by Rolex is the most suitable so it can maintain the brand itself over the time and does not lose its value in the market and the positioning in the mind of the consumer, which is Rolex's formula for success. In order to buy a franchise with Rolex, the brand recognized as the best watchmaking company in the world, it is essential to meet certain requirements such as having experience in selling products from the Rolex business line, as well as that the franchise brand must have a history that speaks about its primordiality towards quality and elegance, two fundamental pillars of this Rolex brand. As everyone knows, there are a few Rolex stores around the world because they are a very select brand. Seiko's strategic alliance with Rowan Blazers. Rowan Blazers ventures into watchmaking with a strategic alliance with Seiko. The Rowan Blazers Summer 2021 campaign features collaboration with Seiko with the trial of Seiko 5 Sports for Rowan Blazer watches. Founded by Jack Clarkson, Rowan Blazers clothing and lifestyle brand Rowan Blazers produce rowing jackets and a variety of classic sportswear, inspired by pop culture and other clothing fashions such as preppy and contemporary streetwear. Into the past, Rowan Blazers has sold used vintage watches from a variety of brands, including Seiko. For his designs, Jack Clarkson was inspired by nothing more than his taste in clothing and watches, but mostly by classic vintage Seiko products that he admires. The design of the watches was created by the Seiko team in Japan in collaboration with Rowan Blazers. Seiko takes this opportunity by taking the charm and strong personalities of fashion brands such as Rowan Blazers, getting a good place to design and sell products. This is part of the Seiko's history and it's exciting to see this part of their business model rediscovered in new ways in the age of e-commerce.
Operational performance of Seiko. A company's financial statement reflects its situation over a given period of time. For this case, the period of analysis is 1 year. For the analysis of the watch industry in Japan, in this case Seiko company, the financial statements for the last 3 years were observed in the table. And in fact, the year 2020 was the lowest compared to previous year. The highest net sales were in the year 2018 with 247 million yen. And operating profit was declining. It had 2.6% in 2019 and further decline in 2020 with 1.1%. Ordinary profit had a surprising drop by 2020, almost 10 billion yen decrease. Finally, the profits attributable to owner of the parent company in 2020 didn't have much difference compared to 2019, but the difference with 2018 was remarkable. Employee efficiency. Japan, despite being one of the most developed countries, doesn't have high levels of worker productivity due to the constant exhaustion of employees in long working hours. Worker performance at Seiko has a big challenge to remain competitive in the global market. In Switzerland, worker performance declined as a result of COVID-19, which forced companies to keep employees on part-time contracts. Switzerland is the best country to work in because you can find the perfect work-life balance. Operational objective. Seiko has always sought to offer the best product to all its loyal consumers, wherein to add a new dimension to the watches they offer, creating a strong emotional appeal and enriching their lives of their consumers. COVID-19 propelled the Rolex company to survive the crisis and gain more credibility in doing so. Its goal is to be versatile so that anyone can wear it anywhere and for any occasion. In the case of Rolex, the company is constantly innovating while retaining the sounds of its original watches. Average cost. The cost of a Rolex can range from $6,500 to $75,000. Factors affecting the price are materials, new movement, popularity of a collection, and complications. The average price of most Rolex watches range from $7,000 to $12,000. Unlike Rolex luxury watches, Seiko is positioned as a more accessible brand and for all tastes. Seiko, in addition to having luxury watches, also for sport and everyday watches. In terms of pure value, Seiko is probably the king, with full vertical integration in-house movements and a reputable history in watches that are mostly under $1,000.
Hello teacher, on this occasion I will talk about the scenario analysis of Switzerland. To begin with, the SWOT analysis of Switzerland is characterized by strength, consolidated brand. Rolex is a brand with more than 100 years of history. Opportunities: develop new lines of business. Weaknesses: the range of products offered is not very wide. Threats: less, less watch usage. This is a threat that affects all watch brands without exception. In the Pestel analysis, it was identified that political decisions have a lot of influence in the world of watches. In the economic environment, in 2015, the world economic crisis resulted in 22% drop in exports. In the social environment, the elderly population is the one that has more contributions in the watch industry. In technology, the technological advances that were registered in the equipment of smartphones mark the evolution of other devices. Regarding the environment, with the launch of smartwatches, watch companies created a new line of smartwatches implementing eco-design. With this analysis, 4 scenarios and strategies were created in order to anticipate different features that could alter the business in Switzerland. They are the following.
Japanese watch company selected to investigate was Seiko, and to make the scenario analysis, it is necessary to do it by 3 steps. The first one is a SWOT, where we can know the internal situation of Seiko. The next one was the Pestel analysis, and where we understand the external situation of Seiko, and which is concentrated in Japan because it's the country of Seiko. The next one, the third one is an axis graph, which was used with variable market conditions and influence of the new competitors being the axis. The 4 possible scenarios were placed as different threats: advancement of technology, new brands on the market, and environmental principles. Having possible situations such as the constant change in the fashion, the high influence of the media, the reduction of market share, the constant competition for innovation, the ecological culture, and the rising raw material prices, and among others. And the strategies that for the first scenario of advancement of technology were the application of innovative technology and the joint work with technology companies. For the scenario of different trends, and some strategy was keeping up with these trends by obtaining information from consumers through surveys. For the scenario of the entry of new brands to the market, the signing of alliances with various companies, working with brand positioning and the constant launch products. For the third of environmental principle, work with eco-friendly, promote the care of the planet, and incorporate a policy of saving pay.
Consumer behavior in Switzerland. The Swiss watch industry is in a phase of transformation. The pandemic has given them an opportunity to show how adaptable the Swiss watch industry can be. COVID-19 has accelerated the process of e-commerce and channel sales for those brands that traditionally did not choose to use such platforms. Buying behaviors of different social classes differ to much extent. Higher social class buys the product by assuming the quality according to the brand without worrying about the cost, but the middle class consumer is more inclined towards the quality and features. They choose the product which justifies the cost. The buying behavior of the upper middle class is very much different from the higher class, even if they are buying the same luxury product. Age plays an important role in the consumer behavior phenomenon. Teenagers are usually depend on their parents for their expenses. Consumer behavior in Japan. Japanese consumers are very open to buying international brands of everyday consumer goods and are generally attracted to products imported from perceived specialty countries, such as watches and French wines. It's essential to understand the cultural patterns of the country. In particular, the Japanese consumer has a strong collectivistic group behavioral model that maintains harmony between the individuals. Since the economic crisis, the Japanese are moving towards lower price consumption. Although they were willing to spend more to save time, the trend is reversed for more Japanese consumers who prefer to take the time to spend less. Furthermore, although the population spends most of their time away from home, even with small houses and long working hours, the time spent at home increases. Consumers in Japan are generally very loyal to the brand. There is a strong desire for new products, and consumers are generally embracing brand innovations. The Japanese mainly watch videos and follow influencers for product opinions. Consumers consult on social networks before buying certain products, especially cosmetics and fashion.
Now for our analysis. Now, for the part of the Japanese watch industry, we have chosen Seiko. Now, Seiko has been able to manage and cope with its strategic alliance with Rolling Blazers. Now, allowing it to meet the needs of the customers, showing them this new and beautiful designs obtained in such a classic accessory as a watch. Now, Seiko has been able to manage to obtain a more global vision of the market and will continue to reinvent itself and continue to grow as it has been doing so far. Now, when we talk about the Swiss company, we talk about Rolex. Now, it's concluded that Rolex finance strategy is without a doubt the most appropriate form of internationalization. For the famous watch company, since it's through this form, it is possible to control at maximum the brand quality, a fundamental asset for the Rolex company. Thus, showing a high standards in each of the franchise stores that they have, in which reflects, as we say, the Rolex spirit based on quality and elegance. Now, when we talk about the watchmaking activities, it has changed a lot in the recent years as a number of important points have been crossed. Now, in the 1990s, watches were from a higher growth sector compared to other activities, and they enjoyed a lot of success at this time. But times are changing, the environment is changing, and the customer's taste and expectations are evolving. As a result of this, activities in watchmaking have also changed. All luxury brands expect a long-term demand for long-end luxury products to continue to grow around the world. Now, as we all know, the pandemic of coronavirus has caused a tremendous distribution around the world and is expected to have lasting implications for nearly every industry. Many companies, both domestic and foreign, will face increasing challenges, including shifting customers' expectations and preferences as we move into the post-coronavirus. Now, it's important to distinguish between what is likely just a short-term change by social distancing and people staying indoors at home with those changes in the customer's behavior caused by an economic and physical impact of the coronavirus. Now, today, the activities of indoors or inside or at home, as you would like to say, have increased, such as an increase in the use of video games, cooking at home, and mainly the delivery service. So it's more likely for this to have an impact on every single industry that is out in the world, and it will have an impact, and the companies will have to shortly develop more strategies as the post-coronavirus future is coming. Now, since mostly everyone now is vaccinated. And this would be all for our presentation. Thank you so much.